Hey guys, welcome back and happy Friday. All right, guys. Well, the gift that keeps on giving, I guess, is the completely replaced cast of Vanderpump Rules, but they did have a strong 11 season run, and you will never take that away from them. And they were nominated for Emmys twice. And then Paige and Craig's breakup, because it just seems like Paige gives a new detail, then Craig gives a new detail, then Paige gives a new detail, then Craig gives a new detail. And it's like, could we not have just gotten the cliff notes in the beginning of all of this? Like Ariana never gave details. She literally talked about it one time and then she was like, I'm not going to talk about this man anymore. I'm not going to talk about him. Well, smash the like button, guys. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell and let's jump right in. I know what you're thinking. I know. But yes, we are starting here. So, Craig Conover revealed why he hid his breakup from Paige, and he also claimed that they had a great sex life. And she asked him to buy her a ring. Yeah. Meanwhile, Shep shared his belief that Craig was not driving the bus, and Austen hinted at cracks in their relationship. You know what's wild to me, you guys, is in this, legitimately, you guys are probably like, what's wild to you about this, Adam? The way that the cast is like completely, they're all slamming each other and you can see it. Summer House is going in on Southern Charm. Southern Charm is going in on Summer House. But I saw our girl Kim from Bravo Breaking News post something about this, and I was like, this is so true. So I'm going to share her post. Just look at how much like they hate Paige. Okay, Shep. I'll say something. I think it's total fucking bullshit that Paige didn't go on one single trip when they were dating with us. I couldn't get away with that if I had a girlfriend, I'll tell you that much. And what stupid ass talk show you get your ass in film with your boyfriend? I just think it's incomprehensible. And furthermore, she didn't film with any of us. Any of us. It was like her and Craig making breakfast or like pruning roses. Hmm. Also, Miss Patricia said every time she came down here, except on a few occasions, she never made an attempt to get to know Charleston, to get to know members of the group. They were isolated. Mm, see what I mean? You can tell. Not fans of Paige. Moving on. Moving on. It was around Thanksgiving of last year where Paige ended up breaking up with Craig Conover, and she publicly announced it in late December, but she seemed to suggest that it just happened. Now, later we clearly realized that that was not the timeline, but it was in last night's finale where cameras picked back up after the split, and Craig was very calm about the breakup in a scene with Shep and Austen, and he said, Paige and I had a great Thanksgiving together. Everything was normal at our parents, like our chemistry and everything. And then a couple of weeks later, she called and was like, we got to talk. And Craig then knew that Paige was going to break up with him. Yeah. He said it was really calm. She's like, I need to find myself. She's like, I have to take control of my life again. And we need to break up. Now, after that, according to Craig, Shep and specifically Austen were the only people he wanted to tell. But the truth is, I couldn't let it out. I couldn't let it get out yet. And it was a bummer because I was like, I don't know if I can tell Austen and him not say something. And I was going to fucking say anything because I didn't want it to be real. So I wasn't going to talk about it. But he also indicated that he was waiting for Paige to be the one who shared it publicly. But Craig alleged that he flew to New York before last summer to design a ring because she asked him to buy her a ring. And then she was like, actually, hold off. And looking back, maybe that was her starting to panic or freak out. But then Craig also claimed that he offered to relocate to New York City, like she asked me, and he consented to raising their future children in Manhattan. And she's like, you will resent me forever if you have to live this life in New York. And he said that their love is so rare, so he struggles to make sense of their split and the idea of finding love again. We were best friends. We loved each other. We had a great sex life. We just checked so many boxes that you like, how are we giving this up? It's weird. Like to mourn somebody that's still alive. So prolific. Now, before Craig arrived in this, Shep explained that Rodrigo was the one who messaged him. And they were talking about how bad they feel for Craig. But listening to both, though, both sides of this, I don't know. I don't really feel, I'm not feeling too bad right now for Craig. I'm not going to lie. But we're going to take this over to somebody who you guys are definitely not going to feel bad for. We're going to talk about James Kennedy. So Zach Wickham from the Valley decided to call out Scheana and a few other people because it seemed like they waited for James to be featured with one of the Tate brothers in a photo to end up unfollowing him. This is what was said.
A little context to this because I DM'd Zach and he didn't open it for many hours, but then he did and just left it on scene. So I'm sure you're going to hear this. So here it is. I did not unfollow James recently because of him posting with the Tate brothers. It was actually coincidental timing. When all of the stuff with him and Allie happened back in December, immediately unfollowed from Summer's account. But also, I know how James is. I know how he is or how he was with his breakup with Raquel and feeling like everyone took Raquel's side. And then that just made things harder for Raquel. At the time, Allie was not ready to unfollow him. And so I just followed suit. I didn't want to do anything where we all start unfollowing him. I knew everything that happened the night of his arrest. She told me the whole story. So I'm like, you know what, just to keep the peace, I will continue following him. He is on mute. I'm not liking his shit. I'm not commenting on his shit. I don't want to see any of it. But recently, she had reached out to me and she was like, okay, I think it's time. I think I need to unfollow him. And I was like, all right, girl. I'm like, if you're doing it, I'm doing it. She's like, oh, but I'm like, I don't want to follow him anymore because the following looks like I'm supporting him. Yeah. I just don't support him anymore. I wish him well. I wish him the best. I hope he's continuing on his sobriety journey. Same as Jax. You know, you can love him from afar and just wish them well. I just don't need you in my inner circle anymore. And I don't need to follow you anymore. So Allie and I unfollowed him. Okay. Then I guess it was maybe the next day or maybe even the same day that the Tate Brothers stuff came out.
So it looked like you unfollowed because of that.
And then because I'm guessing that's why Ariana and Katie just unfollowed. Okay. But also Brittany was still following him.
Okay.
So I don't know if she unfollowed around the same time or Zach was like, I'm going to post this, but I have no idea. I wanted to give a little context to this because I DM'd Zach and
actually, you know, like I listened to it the first time and I didn't know if I really believed what Scheana was kind of selling on this, but this is a very elaborate story. And also Scheana let me say this about Scheana. And also thank you to Breaking the Rules pod clips. But Scheana is a very compassionate person and she is a good friend, like especially if you are in her circle, and she will be there for you. And I think her knowing that James spiraled the night of Kathy Hilton's Christmas party when he got arrested and he was kind of just going downhill and things were happening again. I think her seeing that, she didn't want to add fuel to the fire. And I think, like she said, she probably did have multiple conversations with Allie. And that probably did not help unfollowing him because Allie is a very compassionate girl. And she probably was like, listen, let's not kick James while he's down. I'm just going to leave. I'm going to exit the relationship. I'm not going back. And that's kind of where we're at. And I feel like that's very real. I do wonder too, though, like, what does life look like for Allie now? Not in a bad way, but if James was making like all of this DJ money, what does it look like for her? Does she go back to normal life? Does she, you know, but also Allie is gorgeous and she'll find somebody. Point is, sorry, Zach. I kind of agree with Scheana. I do. Nothing against Zach, but I agree with Scheana. I'm wondering too if Zach's gonna get a big head off of being on the Valley. Like because he's always been really nice to me, but you never know. Sometimes this TV shit changes people. I don't know. I want to hear what you guys think. Guys, pop off in the comment section, please. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. Let me know, and I'll see you later. Bye, guys. Love you.